Hey guys, yours truly, Kevin Grace, giving you some racing history. Did you not know that the great man of war, before he started his campaign of dominance, lived here in Maryland for a brief period of time? He was bought at the yearling sale in Saratoga in 1918, and he was relocated down to Berlin, Maryland, to Glen Riddle Farms. And I've got this nice, actually one of these mirrors that Seagram's Liquors did on different equine champions. And of course, it's the great man of war. And I want to show this to you. And we're going to take a trip down south to the Eastern Shore and see the farm, or what it looks like nowadays, where he trained to become a champion. Hey guys, yours truly, Kevin Grace. I am here in Berlin, Maryland. Berlin, Maryland is located just a few miles from Ocean City, Maryland, right off of Route 50. Behind me was one of the greatest farms in thoroughbred racing history, or associated with it anyway. This is where one of the greatest racehorses, the original Big Red, man of war, lived for a period of time, and some of his offspring trained here as well. In 1917, man of war was born, and then he was put into the Saratoga yearling sale, and Sam Riddle wound up buying him for $5,000. Now, Glen Riddle Farms is named after Sam Riddle's grandfather. Actually, the town up in Pennsylvania, they named after his grandfather. He was a wealthy textile businessman, Glen Riddle, Pennsylvania, and he named the farm after his grandfather. And nowadays it is a golf course. Now, man of war, he set a lot of records. Now, he did not run in the Kentucky Derby. They didn't think that he was ready, but he ran in the Preakness. He wound up winning that. He wound up winning the Belmont, and he set about 5 racing records, and some of them are still current today. And he sired a Triple Crown champion, 1937 War Admiral, and he trained here as well. And matter of fact, man of war defeated the first Triple Crown champion, Sir Barton, in a match race. I think he beat him by a good 7 lengths. Now, the reason why he didn't run as a 4-year-old was because they were going to put super high handicap weights on him, such as 140 pounds or 145 pounds, and his owner didn't want to risk any type of injury, so he wound up just retiring him. In that January of that year, he came here, and then he wound up being shipped to the other farm that he had in Lexington, Kentucky, called Fairway Farms, and that's where he stayed until when he died in November of 1947. And but meanwhile, the reason why Sam Riddle liked this area, he thought that the great weather and the sea salts would be great on some of his equine horses, and evidently it must have worked, because definitely Man of War was special and War Admiral was special. Now, also some of the great offspring of War Admiral, of Man of War, were American Flag. He was a Belmont winner as well. I believe he won the Belmont in 1925. Of course, I said Man of War won the Belmont, and of course his Triple Crown, the horse that he sired that wound up being a Triple Crown champion, War Admiral, wound up being a Triple Crown champion in 1937. So the test of champions. But anyway, this is the barn. It stabled about 60 horses, and they said here they would have music playing, bands for the employees in the evening time. There were about 25 jockeys. It was really a nice place. Now, as I mentioned, Man of War passed away in 1947. Now, Sam Riddle wound up passing away at age 89 a few years later, I think about 1951. Now, his other family members took over the farm, and in 1969 there was a fire that burnt down the mansion that was here, and this property was just left to kind of decay. In 2004, when a developer wound up taking over the property and turning it into a golf course and also a Ruth's Chris. Now, the thing that's really cool, they were able to save, it was such a good condition, they were able to save the inside of it and the beams, and they've added some paintings that a local painter wound up doing. So let's go inside and take a look. And like I said, they've kept the memory of the farm and Man of War alive, which is really, really nice. And I know some people didn't want it to be like, you know, a golf course, but yeah, there's a golf course, and it has expensive houses built throughout the farm, and they did keep the original water tower as well, and they do have the starting gate in the fairway somewhere, so I'll take you to take a look at that as well. But let's check it out. Hey guys, I'm out here actually on the golf course, and there still is the traces of the mile racetrack where Man of War and some of the other great thoroughbreds trained at, and they do have this old starting gate. Of course, when Man of War and War Admiral ran, there were no racing gates. That was really more in the mid 40s is when the racing gates became a tool that they started doing the races. But there's an old one here, and it's right over here. I've seen some old pictures when the farm wasn't exactly done, and this thing was just covered up, and it was kind of like in the woods. But it's cool that they have this here, or maybe this was the woods actually, and they just cut around it. But the mile track would be right here, going all the way down. So I think 3 holes are within the area of the mile track. But let's see if I can get on this side here. As you can see, we got some golfers right over there. There's a hole over there, and then of course right behind me there's a spot where they tee off at, and they've got these over here as well, these horseshoes. So I guess they tee off from those areas as well. But the gate. So as you can see, look how old this thing is. But this is so cool that I can come and check this out. Look at it, so rusted. But yeah, the horses were loaded right in here, and these were the gates, and you can see all the way down is the water tower at the end. So it's been really cool to be in here. So let's go inside here so we can get a look at what the gate looks like. Straight ahead is the old water tower. And they're off. You can see the old numbers up top here. That was number 10, number 9, number 8. You can see the silhouette. But yeah, this was, of course, like I said, the front of the gate. So this was probably made in 1940s, mid 1940s. And this is the track right here in front of us. Now you can see the golf course and all the different holes. So different, but I'm glad that at least they did keep some of this history. Look, they had the bell here too. When the gates were open, you would hear that bell ting. So the horses knew, hey, that's time to run. So guys, behind me is one of the still original structures that was left here on this property. I'm glad they were able to keep this. It's the water tower. And so amidst the golf course and all these luxury homes behind me, you have the golf course not far from the barn area. But here it is right here, still there. But that's the original water tower. So it's really cool, and they have this sign here saying this historic water tower was one of the original fixtures on the Riddle Farm and has been carefully restored to preserve the natural history of the farm. Today it stands amid a pristine golf course and luxury homes to remind all of those who visit of the farm's fascinating horse racing history. That's a mouthful. But anyway, this was the water tower, and of course the barn area is right over there, and that's, you know, the present day Ruth's Chris straight ahead over there. But man, this is a beautiful view. They've added some little lakes here, and of course these are the homes. I guess you can go on Zillow to find out how much they go for. I think some of them start at about 400,000, but this is really nice, and it's beautiful weather down here, and it's about 5 miles away from Ocean City, so nice place to be. Now what you're seeing in front of you is a replica of the I believe 1952 memorial that they had for Man of War that stood here. So they did a replica of it. So if you see some of the old pictures of the farm, you would see a replica just like this, or the original anyway. And of course now they added the sign here talking about Man of War was the greatest racehorse and leading money winner of his day. Glen Riddle Farm owner Sam Riddle purchased Man of War for $5,000 in the summer of 1918. This horse was shipped to Glen Riddle, where he was trained by Louis Faustel. During his 2-year racing career, he won 20 of 21 races with total earnings of $249,645. In 1920, Riddle learned that Man of War would be required to carry a record handicap weight of 145 to 150 pounds. Riddle made the decision to retire his prize stallion rather than risk injury. Man of War was sent to Glen Riddle Farm to unwind, and in January of 1921 he was sent to Kentucky to begin his stud career, where he remained until 1942, when he was retired after showing signs of heart trouble. Man of War sired many champions, including his son War Admiral, winner of the 1937 Triple Crown. This magnificent horse died quietly in his stall in November of 1947. He was buried in a full casket lined in the black and yellow Riddle racing colors. He is now interred in the entrance of the Kentucky Horse Park under a bronze statue of his likeness. So this is real nice, and I've done a vlog on Man of War's statue and burial spot, you might as well call it, in the Kentucky Horse Park. So definitely check out that vlog if you have not seen it. So guys, that completes the tour of Glen Riddle Farm slash golf course slash Ruth Chris. But I'm so glad that they were able to still keep the same history up and keep as much original stuff up as they could, from that starting gate that was on this property to the water tower and of course the barn area. So at least that gives you a slight peek back into history, how it was at that time. And even though there's $250,000 homes down here now, it's going to be well kept up, so that's one good thing. And of course, a Spencer's restaurant, Ruth Chris, is going to be taken care of, so history's not going to be gone anytime soon. But if you're down in Berlin, Maryland, heading to Ocean City, stop by and pay a visit.